All right, back with another best of seven here. This is the 2009-2010 all playoffs that I'm doing. So rather than by conference, I'm going with uh, 1 versus 16, 2, 15, 3, 14, and so on. And the game that I'm using for this is Five Dice Hockey, created by Martin Kay. It's pretty straightforward and fast-rolling hockey game. We're not looking for in-depth statistics or anything like that, or really any statistics other than generating a team box score. However, as such, it is something that I prefer to your instant score, like your one or two rolls and generating an instant score at the end of the game. I do still prefer the process of going through a game, seeing the ebbs and flows, seeing the lead changes if there are any, and so on. So you will get that with this game. And so I keep the rules here close by just in case they are needed. I've already in a couple of other videos explained how these numbers are arrived at, so I don't think I'm going to do that here. I do want to get going on this one a little more quickly. And as you can see here, much like in the last one, San Jose and St. Louis, where the lower seeded, the much lower seeded St. Louis Blues, 15th seeded, were up against the second overall San Jose Sharks, and St. Louis was up 3-1 in the series at the time that I turned that on. I won't spoil the eventual outcome. And this one here, Boston, very similarly, and they got here in a very similar fashion as well. Chicago, it was business as usual in game one. The 2010 Stanley Cup winning Chicago Blackhawks ended up taking the first game of the series. But Boston, the 2011 Stanley Cup champions, so it's kind of interesting, that dynamic there. And of course, these two teams met one another in the final in 2013. But you have Boston 1 year prior to having won the Stanley Cup, 14th overall in the NHL that season. And they were up against the third overall Chicago Blackhawks, where, again, they dropped the opening game of the best of seven series, but they've since come back. They managed to steal one in Chicago, and they've snapped off a couple of straight wins after that as well. So here they stand. Chicago's facing elimination. I'm not doing complete best of sevens on camera. I'm just doing once the series arrives at the elimination portion of it. So anyway, it's called Five Dice Hockey because it is five dice, but me being silly me, a thought that I had as I was setting up here was, wouldn't it be interesting or ridiculous if it used a number of dice other than five, but called itself Five Dice Hockey? With that said, it is five dice hockey, but sometimes for a lot of rolls, actually, you really need only look at a couple of them. So it's really, in case the five look a little complicated, it's really not nearly that complicated on at least most rolls. And of course, the few that invite those complications, those are what add intrigue and change the score and everything in the game, potentially. So starting things off here, I thought I would use this. I've been using the little tray. It's actually just a box top. I thought I would use this instead. I think the dice colors kind of show up a little better in this tray. So starting things off, actually, we're going to get a kind of a lull here in the first 4 minutes. And right away, I look at that green five. I know that there is no chance for either team to score. So we're going to take another here. Actually, we stay in the same minute, however, with that green three again, I know, just to keep rolling. And we're going to stay in the same minute again with the green five. So nothing so far here. We're going to advance one more whole minute. We're going to have our first turnover of the game. Got to be careful and be aware of where the tripod is. So here the 6:55. We're looking here 5 Chicago. So it's going to be turned over here by Boston. Boston, with that roll of a 5, that means that we will advance time and they will have a scoring chance here. Possibly this will lead to another turnover or even a rare event, but I don't need to roll the red die. So 3 more minutes come off the clock here, where what I said there earlier, we narrowly missed a rare play, actually. So this time, though, it's going to go back the other way to Chicago. I would assume anyway. Again, I'm not the creator of this game. Martin Kay is, but I would think because it was reversed to Boston, it would then be reversed to Chicago here in the follow-up with that roll of a 4. So that is what I'm going to do here. Maybe I'm supposed to roll that, and then whoever this is take the opposite, but I'm not going to do that. So anyway, we get 2 more off the clock here now, so we're up to minute 10. And look at that, Chicago here, they have a 161. They need 213 or below, so it does mean that the Blackhawks backs to the wall in this series. Maybe we can assume it was Patrick Sharp getting the Hawks on the board here to get things started here. And one thing I didn't look at, actually, I meant to double check. I'm quite sure it was Tim Thomas, but it was Tim Thomas and... No, actually, I'm glad that I did. Tuukka played in all 12 or 13 of Boston's playoffs games. Interestingly, at least to me, Dennis Wideman led them in scoring for that playoffs to Boston. He had a lot of assists, but an assist per game. Anyway, so Chicago's up 1-0 here in game 5 of the series in Chicago, trying to stave off elimination. 3 more off the clock here, and with that green 4, we keep going. So we get another 2 off the clock here with that blue die roll of a 3, and the green 4 says once again that nothing really has transpired of significance here. A couple more minutes, and we're going to get here Boston. This is already know it. I'm just going to show it though. Tie game Boston, courtesy of that 134 and the red 2. 1, 2, 3 on this die. The chance goes to the away team, and then 4, 5, 6. The chance goes to the home team, barring a turnover where if it's low it goes to high, and if it's high it goes to low, or home away and away home. So we have a 1, and I have these cards upside down. We have a 1-all game here, late in period 1, and again, Chicago needs to win to stay alive. Okay, let's see here. So another minute off the clock with that green 4. Are we headed to a 1-1 tie here at the end of 1? I think we are with that green 5 again. We just continue to roll. We're going to get 4 minutes off the clock here in the second period, and the 6. This time it's a 6-1-2. So this time what happens, I don't advance time. 4 means it's going to go the other way, so the turnover is to Boston. And we're going to roll these 3, and it's basically a free shot here, free scoring chance for the Bruins. And they don't make good on it, so we're going to stay 1-1 here. Had some tight games earlier with San Jose and St. Louis, and that's all I'll say. We should stay in the same minute. And again, here with 6:35, that means this time we will advance time. And courtesy of that 6, again, it's going Boston's way. So Chicago turning the puck over. Chalmerson, what's wrong? Brent Seabrook, come on. Okay, so we're going to advance 2 minutes here. And again, we're getting a lot of green 6s in this one because I don't shake and roll well necessarily. But with the 6:23 here, this one will be one without time advancing. And I would assume, again, because it went Boston's way, it's going to go back Chicago's way. So sorry if I'm favoring the home team in any way. But if you know anything about this channel, the history of this channel, this is Boston on my desktop. And I really need not say anything, more than that. So I guess just going to roll here and not advance time this time. Okay, but actually this time, and I will show that it would specify in the rules here, because that came off a 3. So off a 3 on the ensuing roll and the follow-up roll, there's no turnover or a rare event again. So otherwise, and I understand why, and probably Martin discovered this through play testing, I would think, or just experimenting with the game otherwise, because otherwise you could just keep rolling turnovers and rare plays all day long and not advance any time. So let's not do that. Anyway, so 4 off. So we're halfway through the game now with that green 4. We could have a pretty tight, low-scoring affair here. 2 more minutes come off the clock where we get a 6:54. And that 4, so again to Boston, they do advance time. Follow-up roll here. And so 3 more off the clock now. We're up to 15, 5 to go here in period 2 with the green 3, though neither team manages to strike there. And 4 minutes now, so 19 minutes here. And with that green 4, it looks like we're headed into the second intermission just about with a 1-all game, where actually we're going to be 3 minutes now into period 3. Time rolls over into the third period. Players of Mike Owens Quick Play Pro Hockey know exactly how that works. This is in fact Mike Owens Quick Play Pro Hockey clock. I use this pretty much for any game that would count time by the minute. Although actually, if I'm off camera and I'm using my laptop, I just use click counter online. Anyway, so 3 into the third period, and the green 5 says that we just keep going here. So okay, let's see here. So with the 6, we will have a turnover. 4 more minutes come off the clock now, so 13 to go here in the game thereabouts. And with a 6:61. And the 1, so this will go back Chicago's way. And again, I don't advance time because that is a white 1. And I don't even need to see that one. I just need to do this. And Chicago doesn't score on it anyway. A lot of high rolls in that green. High rolls in the green means a low-scoring game. So 3 more off the clock now. 10 to go here in the contest. And with the 6:11 and the 6, so it's going to be Boston chance. Don't advance time. Boston with a 4:16 because I would count them like so. Boston with a 4:16 there. They don't... they don't take advantage of the chance they've been given. So 3 more off the clock now. And once again, surprise, surprise, it's a turnover. And 3, this goes Chicago's way. Let's see if Chicago can make do with it. And they, that's going to invite some. Actually, no, you know what? With the 6, that wouldn't matter. Even if that was a 1, that would still be an error miss with the 2-1-6. I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to fret about it. I'm just going to continue. That was kind of sort of a mistake, though. We're going to stay in the same minute, and there is nothing there because that green 3. Okay, 2 more minutes come off the clock now. 5 to go in the contest, and again with another green 3. Could we be headed to sudden death here? So 4 more off the clock, and so 19. We have a 2:36. Chicago almost. They got close. Tuukka holding down the 4. And it looks like, yeah, we are going to go into sudden death overtime. We're officially 2 minutes in sudden death here in the 2:32 for Chicago this time. Does mean, again, Tuca's probably had to come up big. That's how I would interpret that. Where we're going to take another minute off the clock now. We have a 2:22 Chicago. It feels like they're inching closer and closer. They have Boston on their heels here. 3 into OT, and actually we're going to stay in the same, but look at this. Boston has reversed trend, has reversed tide. And so Chicago, they kept pressing, they kept pressing, they kept pressing. And all of a sudden, it looks like we're going to conclude this. This will be a shortish video because the Boston Bruins have we will have a new Stanley Cup champion in these 2009, 2010 alt playoffs here, because the historic champions, the Chicago Blackhawks, have been eliminated because, of course, again, I did say it is Boston on this desktop. So allow me to I should have actually not erased it. I should have just put red over top because I feel like doing this. Boston, let's do the honors here. As they advance to the handshake line, Patrice Bergeron, very young Blake Wheeler, Krejci if he was healthy on this night, and Dennis Wideman, of course, the aforementioned Wideman, and then Zdeno Chara. He would extend his hand and his long reach to the Chicago Blackhawks. So this is an emerging Blackhawks team. They were led by Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane, obviously, in that playoff. Marian Hossa snapped his curse with this team. Antti Niemi, who actually backed up Cristobal Huet through the regular season. Chicago, they were right to go with the hot goaltender with a hot hand. I can't remember actually if Huet's health was, I think he only one game, but they were right to go with Niemi, obviously, in real life. However, in this replay here, because it's my desktop and it's Boston, the Boston Bruins have managed to pull off the upset and eliminate the Chicago Blackhawks. So they become the latest team to advance forward to the next round, even though they finished 14th overall and they came into this one a relatively low seed. Anyway, anytime, any consideration you give to anything like this, well, it's never expected. It's definitely appreciated. So cheers, thanks, and bye for now.